Polly wakes up at 5:45 a.m. to the exact same iPhone alarm sound everyone else hears. He checks his bank balance before his eyes fully adjust to the dim light. The screen displays $142.18 in his checking account on a Thursday morning. Payday is still 8 days away, and his rent check clears tomorrow night. He lies in bed for 30 seconds calculating whether he can buy coffee today. This is life at $45,000 a year, a constant, quiet math problem. Every dollar has a job, and every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. Polly dresses in $22 slacks and drives a 10-year-old sedan to work. The gas gauge sits just above the red line, begging for $20. At $45,000, survival isn't about luxury, it's about preventing complete financial breakdown. He packs leftover pasta in a plastic container to avoid spending $14 at lunch. Co-workers ask if he wants to order takeout, and he politely declines every time. He says he brought food from home, hiding the anxiety behind a smile. At this income level, one flat tire can ruin an entire month's budget. Polly spends his evenings looking at spreadsheets, trying to find extra dollars anywhere. He tracks every single purchase down to the cent in a worn spiral notebook. He realizes that hard work alone will never break him out of this loop. Now here's where it gets interesting. Can you guess what happens next? He decides to upgrade his skills and transition into a corporate sales role. 18 months later, Polly receives an offer letter showing an annual salary of $75,000. At $75,000 a year, the constant background panic finally begins to fade away completely. Polly can now buy a $5 coffee without mentally checking his balance first. Rent gets paid on the first of the month automatically without any fear of bouncing. But a subtle trap emerges here that catches almost every mid-level earner. The extra $2,000 a month feels like fortune, so lifestyle creep quietly slides into view. Polly upgrades his apartment from a cramped studio to a luxury one-bedroom complex. His monthly rent jumps from $1,200 to $1,850 before he even calculates the difference. He leases a new crossover SUV for $480 a month, trading security for modern comfort. At $75K, you feel comfortable, but your net worth remains surprisingly close to $0. You look wealthy to your friends, yet your savings account barely grows each month. Compare that to someone who did it differently. Same income, but completely different result. Polly notices senior managers at his office making around $120,000 every single year. He studies their daily habits and aggressively negotiates his way into an account executive position. 2 years later, Polly hits the six-figure mark with a base salary of $120,000. Crossing into six figures changes your psychological relationship with basic daily expenses and survival. You no longer look at price tags on grocery store items or basic household goods. Polly maxes out his Roth IRA with $7,000 and starts contributing to his 401k properly. Yet, at $120K in a major American city, high taxes hit remarkably hard. Federal income taxes, state taxes, and payroll deductions eat over 30% of his check. He realizes that earning six figures no longer carries the purchasing power it once did. He drives past $600,000 suburban houses and realizes mortgage payments would consume half his income. The realization hits him hard. Earning a high salary is not the same as wealth. Polly decides to stop relying solely on a paycheck and starts pursuing performance bonuses aggressively. He learns advanced enterprise software sales, pushing his compensation package up to $180,000 a year. At $180,000, Polly experiences a significant structural shift in his financial daily life and options. He clears all remaining high-interest debt and builds a full 6-month liquid emergency fund. His high-yield savings account generates over $400 in passive interest payments every single month. For the first time in his life, money starts working for Polly instead of against him. But extended family members begin noticing his visible promotion and subtle shifts in lifestyle habits. Distant cousins call asking for short-term loans or investments in unvetted business ideas. Polly learns the difficult lesson of setting firm financial boundaries with people he loves dearly. He realizes that visible success creates subtle friction in relationships that used to feel simple. Most people stop here, content with comfortable security and occasional luxury vacations to warm beaches. The ones who don't are the ones who actually change their financial trajectory forever. Polly keeps his living expenses capped at his old $75,000 level, while earning $180,000 annually. He funnels the massive $100,000 surplus directly into broad market index funds every single month. By age 32, his liquid investment portfolio crosses the $250,000 mark without taking crazy risks. He steps into a director of regional sales position with a base and bonus totaling $250,000. At $250,000 a year, the tax burden becomes your absolute single largest expense in life. Polly watches over $80,000 flow out of his paycheck directly to government treasuries each year. He hires a professional certified public accountant to optimize every legal deduction available to him. He opens a solo 401k, utilizes flexible spending accounts, and invests in tax-efficient asset classes. At $250,000 earnings, you stop buying things to impress people and start buying back time. Polly hires a cleaning service for $150 a week and gets his groceries delivered routinely. The next level on this ladder is the one nobody talks about, and it's the most powerful. Polly gets recruited by a Series C tech firm as Vice President of Global Commercial Revenue. His new compensation package reaches $380,000 per year, including base pay, performance incentives, and equity grants. At $380,000, Polly stops comparing his lifestyle to middle-class standards or high-earning peers. He notices that high-net-worth individuals operate under completely different rules than average workers do daily. They don't store capital in standard checking accounts. They put every dollar into cash-flowing assets. Polly purchases his first commercial real estate property, a small 4-unit apartment complex downtown, for $650,000. The rental income provides $2,800 in net positive cash flow after covering maintenance and mortgages. His net worth quietly crosses the $1 million milestone while he continues driving a simple sedan. Coworkers assume he earns good money, but nobody suspects he holds over $1.2 million in liquid capital. He stays completely silent about his net worth, keeping his private finances hidden from public view. He knows that broadcasting wealth attracts unnecessary envy, bad advice, and unwanted financial demands from others. Now here's where it gets interesting. Can you guess what happens to your mindset next? At $380K, work becomes an intentional choice rather than a mandatory struggle for survival and shelter. Polly realizes he could live comfortably for 8 years without earning another single dollar of salary. That psychological freedom changes how he speaks in executive meetings and negotiates high-stakes corporate deals. He no longer fears being fired or laid off during unpredictable corporate restructuring cycles or recessions. He speaks with absolute authority because his financial survival no longer depends on any boss's approval. Senior executives notice his calm demeanor, unshakable confidence, and sharp focus under extreme corporate pressure. They promote Polly to Senior Vice President of Revenue, pushing his total compensation to $500,000. At $500,000 a year, your daily relationship with money undergoes a permanent transformation. You realize that consuming luxury goods is an amateur's game played by people seeking artificial status. Polly sees colleagues making $500K spend every dime on $120,000 sports cars and massive vacation mansions. They remain stuck on a golden treadmill, trapped by high monthly overhead despite their massive paychecks. Polly chooses a completely different path, maintaining a modest primary residence with a reasonable mortgage payment. He diverts over $250,000 every year directly into private equity deals, syndications, and index funds. His passive dividend income alone reaches $42,000 per year, covering his basic baseline living costs completely. He achieves full functional financial independence before turning 39 years old, in quiet, complete silence. Compare that to someone who spent every raise, high income with zero actual wealth or security. Polly watches peers panic during market downturns, while his diversified assets continue generating stable cash returns. He reaches the final tier of corporate leadership, accepting an executive vice president role at $650,000. His compensation includes $350,000 base pay, $150,000 performance bonus, and $150,000 in executive stock options. At $650,000 annually, Polly earns more in one single month than he used to make in an entire year. But something profound happens when you reach the peak of the corporate compensation ladder in modern America. You realize that earning $650K as an employee still trades your finite time for someone else's equity. Polly pays $210,000 in annual income taxes, realizing wage earners face the highest tax burdens possible. He watches business owners and real estate investors build massive empires while paying lower effective tax rates. He understands that high salary is merely the launchpad to genuine capital ownership and true legacy building. At $650K, Polly's total net worth hits $4.8 million, with $3.1 million invested in broad assets. His passive cash flow from real estate and dividends reaches $125,000 per year without touching his principal. He sits in his quiet office at 6 p.m. on a quiet Friday afternoon, looking down at the city skyline. He remembers the 24-year-old version of himself staring at $142 in his checking account years ago. The difference between $45K and $650K was never just about working harder or putting in longer hours. It was about systematically elevating skill sets, managing capital, and resisting the dangerous lure of lifestyle inflation. Polly packs his briefcase, walks out to his modest sedan, and starts the quiet drive back home. Nobody on the highway knows he holds millions in assets. He looks like any other humble commuter. He doesn't wear expensive designer logos or drive high-maintenance luxury sports cars to seek cheap attention. His true luxury is absolute freedom, the power to own his time, decisions, and future destiny. Let's break down the exact math at every single level so you can chart your own progression. At $45,000, your gross monthly income is $3,750, leaving roughly $2,900 after basic taxes and withholdings. Housing takes $1,200, utilities take $220, groceries take $450, and transportation costs absorb another $480 each month. That leaves less than $550 for health insurance, clothing, debt payments, and emergency savings combined. At this stage, your priority must be aggressive skill acquisition and increasing your primary earning capacity. Saving 5% of $45K yields $2,250 a year. Doubling your income yields $45,000 more every year. Focus 80% of your energy on learning high-value corporate skills, sales, software engineering, or trade expertise. The return on investment for career development at $45K far outweighs tiny frugality optimizations daily. At $75,000, your gross monthly income rises to $6,250, yielding roughly $4,600 in net take-home pay. This is where most middle-class earners make the fatal financial mistake that traps them for decades. They immediately double their rent, lease an expensive new automobile, and dine out 4 nights every week. Their monthly expenses expand automatically to meet their new income, keeping their savings rate flat at zero. If Polly had kept his living costs at the $45K baseline, he would save $1,700 every single month. Over 5 years invested at 8% returns, that simple discipline creates $124,000 in liquid capital. At $120,000, your gross monthly income crosses $10,000, leaving roughly $7,100 after taxes and basic deductions. You enter the upper middle class, where financial choices begin compounding at an accelerated rate over time. This is the exact level where you must automate your investments before you ever see the money. Polly set up automatic transfers directing $2,500 every payday straight into low-cost index funds before spending. By removing human emotion and temptation, his investment portfolio grew on complete autopilot without daily effort. If you spend what is left after saving, you build wealth. If you save what is left, you stay stuck. At $180,000, your gross monthly income reaches $15,000, leaving approximately $10,200 in net take-home cash. You now have massive financial velocity if you avoid luxury traps and high-interest consumer debt obligations. Polly used this level to clear every remaining liability and construct an unshakable cash emergency reserve fund. He kept $40,000 in a high-yield savings account, earning 4.5% interest, generating $1,800 annually risk-free. Having 6 months of cash reserves changes your posture in corporate negotiations and life choices permanently. You operate from a position of absolute strength because you never need a specific job offer to survive. At $250,000, your gross monthly income hits $20,833, leaving roughly $13,500 after heavy tax withholdings take effect. This is the inflection point where tax strategy becomes as important as your primary career earning ability. Polly maximized his tax-advantaged accounts, saving over $14,000 in annual tax obligations legally through proper planning. He utilized backdoor Roth IRAs, health savings accounts, and primary real estate tax depreciation benefits. Money saved on taxes flows directly into income-generating assets that accelerate your net worth timeline exponentially. A dollar saved in taxes is worth more than a dollar earned because it arrives completely untaxed. At $380,000, your gross monthly income reaches $31,666, yielding roughly $19,500 in net liquid take-home cash. At this level, your earned income should start funding substantial cash-flowing assets outside your primary job. Polly invested $100,000 cash into commercial multifamily syndications that generated tax-sheltered quarterly cash distributions to him. Real estate depreciation offset his passive income, allowing him to keep more of what he earned. His capital was no longer sitting passively in bank accounts, it was working 24 hours a day. Wealth creation accelerates when your money earns money, and that secondary money earns tertiary money continuously. At $500,000, your gross monthly income hits $41,666, leaving roughly $25,000 in net monthly cash flow. You are in the top 1% of income earners in the United States of America today. Yet Polly knew that high income without capital assets is an illusion that disappears the moment you stop working. He focused entirely on building his net worth to income ratio, aiming for 10 times his annual salary. When your invested portfolio hits $3.5 million, applying a conservative 4% withdrawal rate yields $140,000 annually, forever. That means your money pays you a six-figure salary without you ever working another morning. At $650,000, your gross monthly income reaches $54,166, with net take-home pay around $31,000 every single month. Polly realized that wealth is not about what you spend, it is about what you own and control. He controlled $4.8 million in total productive assets, generating predictable long-term financial freedom for his entire family line. He broke the generational cycle of living paycheck to paycheck that started decades ago in his youth. Most people spend their lives chasing higher salaries, believing a bigger paycheck will automatically solve all problems. But without financial literacy, a $500K salary just creates $500K worth of expensive problems and golden handcuffs. The secret isn't just climbing the salary ladder, it's keeping your lifestyle anchored while your income climbs. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is the only true measure of wealth creation. Think about where you currently sit on this ladder: $45K, $75K, $120K, or higher right now. Are you letting lifestyle creep consume every raise, or are you converting temporary income into permanent assets? Polly started at the bottom, counting dollars for a $4 gas station coffee under harsh fluorescent lights. He didn't win the lottery, inherit millions, or get lucky on speculative crypto tokens or meme stocks. He systematically upgraded his primary skill set, maintained strict spending discipline, and invested the difference for years. He built a quiet fortune behind the scenes while living a modest, unpretentious daily life among peers. You don't need a $650,000 salary to achieve complete financial security and long-term peace of mind in life. You just need to master the fundamental mechanics of wealth at whatever level you currently earn today. Start by auditing your current monthly spending habits and identifying every single area of unnecessary financial leakages. Eliminate subscriptions you don't use, reduce high-cost dining out, and pay off high-interest credit card debt immediately. Build a 1-month emergency buffer first, then aggressively invest 15% of your gross income every single month. Automate the process so you never have to rely on willpower or memory to build your future portfolio. As your income grows through promotions, job hops, or side businesses, commit to saving 50% of every raise. This simple rule allows you to enjoy lifestyle upgrades while continuously accelerating your path to financial freedom. Remember that true financial independence is not about showing off wealth to impress casual acquaintances or total strangers. It is about waking up every morning knowing that your time belongs entirely to you and your family. Polly looks at his calendar for the upcoming week and realizes he no longer has to attend meetings he dislikes. He has built enough passive cash flow to walk away from any job, any boss, or any toxic corporate environment. That absolute freedom of choice is what $650,000 in salary, combined with disciplined investing, ultimately buys for you. It buys your sovereignty, your peace of mind, and the ability to live life entirely on your own terms. The journey from $45K to $650K was long, demanding, and required years of quiet discipline and focused execution. But every single trade-off was worth it the moment financial anxiety vanished permanently from his life. You have the exact same potential to execute this blueprint starting today, regardless of your current income level. The math remains identical whether you earn $40,000 or $400,000. Master the system and control your destiny. Do not wait for the perfect moment or a lucky break to start taking control of your financial future. Begin today by tracking your expenses, raising your skills, and making your first automated investment contribution without delay. The decisions you make over the next 12 months will compound for decades into the future long after today. Build your empire quietly, stay disciplined during challenges, and let your long-term results speak completely for themselves. Polly closes his office door, steps into the quiet elevator, and rides it down to the ground level silently. His journey from survival to abundance is complete, but the lessons he learned remain timeless for anyone watching. The silent path to financial freedom is open to anyone willing to execute the discipline required every day. Step onto the ladder, stay focused on your goals, and build a life of absolute security on your terms. Compare where Polly started with where he ended, from calculating coffee prices to owning millions in productive assets. The path requires patience, but the destination changes your life and your family's future forever. Make the commitment today to stop trading time for meaningless consumption and start building permanent wealth quietly. Your future self will look back on this exact decision as the turning point that changed everything. The world rewards those who master high-value skills and handle capital with long-term wisdom and strict discipline. Take the first step on your salary ladder today and build the life you truly deserve to live. Polly drives home through the evening traffic, completely content with the quiet life he built over 15 years. He doesn't need external validation because he possesses the ultimate luxury, complete financial peace, and total independence. What is your next move on this financial ladder going to be over the next 12 months, starting right now? The choice is entirely yours to make today. Choose wisely and execute your plan with absolute relentless focus. Every dollar you save and invest today is a soldier working tirelessly for your future financial independence tomorrow. Treat your capital with respect, invest in productive real assets, and build a legacy that lasts for generations. The journey begins with a single decision to take control of your money rather than letting it control you. Take that step right now, track your numbers carefully, and watch your financial reality transform year after year. High earnings without discipline lead to expensive traps, but high earnings with execution create permanent freedom forever. Master both sides of the equation and build a life that is truly rich in every single metric. Polly sits down at his dining room table, reviews his quarterly investment statements, and smiles quietly to himself. The $142 checking balance is now a distant memory, replaced by millions in quiet, tax-efficient, productive assets. He achieved his dream not by luck, but by executing a simple, repeatable financial strategy over many dedicated years. You can do the exact same thing, starting from wherever you are standing on this ladder right now. Focus on your skills, control your expenses, automate your savings, and invest continuously through every market cycle consistently. That is the entire secret to moving from $45K survival to $650K total financial sovereignty and independence. Build your quiet empire step by step, dollar by dollar, and never let lifestyle inflation derail your long-term vision. The path is clear, the math works every time, and the ultimate reward is absolute, unshakable freedom. Now ask yourself honestly where you are currently spending money that could be building your permanent financial freedom instead. Reallocate those resources today into low-cost index funds, skill development, or income-producing real estate assets immediately. Your salary is just the raw material. What you construct with it determines your ultimate financial destination in life. Use your earnings wisely, stay humble, and build a foundation that no economic storm can ever shake loose. Polly's story proves that financial transformation is not reserved for the lucky few or those born into vast wealth. It is available to anyone willing to learn the rules of money and apply them with relentless consistency. Take control of your daily financial habits today and stop letting lifestyle creep steal your hard-earned future wealth. Build a system that generates passive cash flow while you sleep and secures your family's economic future forever. Every level of the salary ladder offers unique opportunities and hidden challenges that test your financial discipline and focus. Master each tier before moving to the next, and keep your long-term goals clearly in view always. The rewards of financial independence far exceed any temporary pleasure derived from consuming expensive luxury goods and services today. Choose permanent security over temporary status every single time you make a financial choice in life. Polly walks out onto his back patio, enjoys the cool evening air, and takes a deep breath of satisfaction. He owes nothing to anyone, owns his time completely, and faces the future with absolute calm and total confidence. That is what mastering your life at every salary level ultimate brings: peace, choices, and total personal sovereignty. Start your journey today, stay disciplined on the path, and create the financial future you truly deserve. The ladder is waiting for you to climb it step by step with clear intent and unshakable long-term focus. Take your first deliberate action right now and watch your financial destiny transform before your very eyes. Remember that real wealth is silent, durable, and completely independent of what anyone else thinks about your life. Execute your plan quietly, build your capital relentlessly, and enjoy the lifelong freedom you earn through your discipline.